standing our ground, here it goes down. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Oh, wait to see, we're gonna be legendary. Ain't no time like the here and now. Yeah, we showed up, now we showing out. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Legendary. We're gonna be legendary. We don't back down, this is what we're made of. Standing our ground, here it goes down. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Oh, wait to see, we're gonna be legendary. Ain't no time like the here and now. Yeah, we showed up, now we showing out. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Legendary. We're gonna be legendary. Legendary. We're gonna be legendary.
I got metal running through my bones, a resurrection like a ghost. Hurricane, go ahead and blow. Where you could keep your white flag, I'll never fold. A shadow on the battlefield, a survivor never yield. A thunder, go ahead and shade. Don't run from the storm when I feel the rain. There's no rest for the wicked, no victory for the weak. And when the weeds getting thicker, you'll never see me on my knees. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. I got a fever in my blood, a falling embers from above. I feel the heat when the pressure blows, a wildfire that you can't control. There's no rest for the wicked, no victory for the weak. And when the weeds getting thicker, you'll never see me on my knees. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. With every beat of my heart, I'll be the light in the dark. You can't control this, I'm explosive. You can't control this, it's 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 explosive.
We're a racing family that you can trust on and off the track. So if you're looking for foundation repair, go online or give us a call to schedule your free inspection. If we fix your foundation and you mention Race On Texas, you will get a 1-year free subscription to the All Access Pass.
Our family started RVing a few years ago, and when I think about all those campfires and fishing trips and sporting events, these are memories that are going to last a lifetime. I want to help others do the same thing. Hi, I'm Kevin Smith, General Manager at the all-new Click It RV in Milton Freewater. People in this community are very familiar with this location and the great service they've always received. So the biggest question we get is, where is Keith? The great news is, Keith is still here.
I've seen a lot of changes. I've seen a lot of things come and go. Through all the changes that we have seen, one thing that has not changed for us is the quality of our service.
Buying an RV is a big purchase, but it should be a fun and happy experience. So whether it be in sales or service or parts, our mission is simple: be the best. From our team here at Click It RV in Milton Freewater, we invite you to come down and experience the difference.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And LSRTV is presenting you the Full Throttle Sim Racing Cup Series here, aka FTSR. Welcome you back here to coverage on LSRTV to the Daytona International Speedway for the season opener for these guys. Man, called them last year. They're a lot of fun to watch here, and they are now a part of LSRTV. Welcome in, obviously, to the broadcast booth. I'm Jason Rockfell, alongside my producer, also my color analyst. He's got two names here. He's got two spots taken up tonight there on the bottom side graphic. Charles Wooten, obviously, always pushing the buttons and always being our color analyst if need be. Charles, how you doing tonight, man? You ready to see some Daytona action?
Yes, I kind of got introduced to this league last Wednesday on Valentine's Day, and, I didn't have a Valentine's Day, but I fell in love with the league, so I guess that counts as having a Valentine. However, Brody didn't buy me any chocolates, but nevertheless, I'm ready for some cup racing here tonight.
Yeah, and it definitely should be a fun one. Obviously, these guys have been around for many, many years. Good hard racing. Had the privilege to be a part of their series last year. I ran a one-off, obviously, at Indianapolis, and boy, oh boy, man, they are tough to drive against. Also had the privilege of calling them over on Nerd TV last year when I started with them back in I want to say it was around March. So should be a fun one tonight here at the Daytona International Speedway. Obviously, the NASCAR Cup Series just wrapped up their 66th running of the Daytona 500, which was won by Hendrick Motorsports driver William Byron. So congratulations to Mr. Hendrick, William Byron, and the entire Hendrick organization, along with that 24 team. Obviously, Daytona, Charles, it's always just something. No matter if it's the real life or the sim, there's always something about it. You always want to come here out of the gate when it comes to the top three series in NASCAR and win here at the World Center of Racing.
Yeah, you definitely do, and it's going to be a little tougher, and I say a little, it's going to be a lot tougher for these guys. Obviously, the trucks had 80 laps. These guys are going to have 100, so you got those extra laps, and so that's going to make it interesting as we're already gridding. Did we skip qualifying? I guess they did. They had the duels, so my apologies. I forgot they were in the duels, so we're going straight into the race.
Yeah, so we're going to give you the starting lineup for tonight's Daytona 250 with these 33 drivers lined up to take on the 2.5-mile D-shaped oval from the beaches of Daytona. Here we go. Row number 1, TJ Bartel and Jeff Chandler there in the 31. Those guys were the fastest in qualifying. Then row number 2, you have Daniel Simmons, and James Torrey in the number 6 machine. Row number 3 comes to Alan Duranco and Colton Gum in the number 10 machine there on the outside. Row number 4, Alan Crowell and Michael Blackner there from Fury Motorsports on the outside in the 22. And rounding out the top 10, Charles, in row number 5, Chad Lang. He's a very good super speedway racer, along with James Wallace in the number 67.
At row 6, going to find Brody Hanna. We'll see how Brody does here tonight. Alongside him is going to be the 01 of Nathan. I believe that's, I'm going to butcher some, and I do apologize. That is Biggert, I believe. Biggert, we'll clarify that one as we go through the season. Row 7 going to be Josh Mayu and Tony Soler. Looking forward to seeing how Tony does here tonight in the Cups. Sherwood Wilford in the 33 and Robert Tracy in the 75. Row 9 is going to be Ryan Hedrick in the 35 on his outside. Ben Tracy. And row 10, Jason, going to be James Knopf and the 3 of Brian Bliss.
Rounding out your rest of the 33 car field, row 11, Chris Beck in the 44 and Anthony Cozy in the 69 machine to the outside. Row number 12 goes to Wayne Gross. He is always a threat late in the going of the super speedways. And Joseph Grijalva, he was very aggressive in the duels and the clash. We'll see how he does there. Row number 13 goes to Joshua Johnson and Jose Acosta, who is always aggressive, with one of the many, many drivers who's always faster in FTSR. Row number 14, Richie Coy, last year's champion, and Brian Dublay in the 37 machine. Row number 15, Lane Allen and Ryan Chapman in the 27 machine. And rounding out the field there in row number 16, Colby Mice, Justin Diltz in the number 91 machine, along with row 17, Tom Price. Well, here we go. New season, 2024. We're ready to kick it off. 100 laps, 250 miles for the Full Throttle Sim Racing Cup Series. Green flag is in the air. We are underway from the Daytona International Speedway, and TJ Bartel and Jeff Chandler are going to lead them all the way down here to turn number 1 with these beautiful looking stock cars as they climb the banks in 1 and 2, Charles.
Yeah, a lot of, calm racing is what we're going to see probably here at the beginning. I don't think we're going to see too much calamity. Then again, you never know. Somebody may want to get to the front. Again, my apologies. I was looking forward to qualifying, but I forgot that they did run the duels to set the field. We just did not cover those. So that is why we went straight into the race. So definitely looking forward to seeing how good this race is going to be. And is it going to be a calm race, or are we going to see chaos early on?
Yeah, we're going to have to see that for sure. And when you look at the last 3 winners here at Daytona for Speed Weeks, obviously, for the FTSR Full Throttle Mach 1 Performance. Long name, we're going to get used to it. Obviously, back in the swing of things for 2024 with them coming on board with us here at LSRTV. You look back a couple weeks ago, Jose Acosta won the Clash, obviously, at Daytona. He was a very, very strong driver towards the tail end of the 2023 C season, so he's always a threat to win. We expect him to probably come from the back. Daniel Simmons won duel number 1 as well back on Thursday night, along with James Torrey winning duel number 2. So a lot of drivers out here, Charles. Obviously, we know how Daytona works. Anybody out here can probably win, but you obviously have to survive the carnage and the chaos that ensues here at this super speedway.
Yeah, you're definitely going to have to do some avoidance. And your best thing right now, and I think you might agree, is friends. You need friends out there. Now, will you have friends with those last, 5 laps to go? Maybe not, but you need them right now. You want to get to the front and try to avoid it. Although we've seen here in the last couple of times we've been to Daytona, wrecks happening at the front. So it's really a chess match. You have to sit out there, work with who you can, work with your friends, possibly work with some of your enemies, and just, like you said, avoid the carnage for the next 90 laps and get to those last 10, and then it's all bets are off. Friends become foes. Maybe a foe becomes a friend. You never know.
Yeah, you obviously have to keep those friends and enemies in your back pocket for sure. Make sure you have that drafting help. You don't want to get hung out to dry, and you want to make sure that you make friends along the way, because that can go a long way come the end of this race. But obviously, we have seen time and time again at the end of these Daytona races, kind of like what we saw in the Daytona 500 just a few moments ago. You see drivers who are teammates start to pull out of line. You think back to the end of Stage 2 a couple hours ago, Ryan Blaney, Austin Cindric battling for the Stage 2 win. Blaney completely leaves Austin Cindric and takes the stage win for himself. So obviously teammates and those gestures go out the window towards the very end of these races as you ride on board with dual number 1 winner Daniel Simmons. He's being helped right now from Alan Duranko, right behind him in the new Toyota Camry XSE machine. And those cars, Charles, iRacing obviously had their major update not that long ago, but obviously what came with it was not only their update, NASCAR obviously let Toyota, Chevy, and Ford work on their bodies, work and see whatever they wanted to do. Toyota and Ford ultimately decide to completely change up their body styles. And Fords obviously have the new Dark Horse Mustang. Really kind of still similar, but they have a little bit more of a boxier look to the front of them. And then these new Toyotas, man, they were really fast at Daytona in the 500 here today. I'm sure that they were fast when I was, out missing the duels here for them on Thursday night. And they have a much flatter bumper, so really all fair game. Everybody has an even shot with these car manufacturers here tonight.
Yeah, and that, you have to wonder that as well for some of these drivers out here that may not have a teammate to work with. How dedicated are they? Are they going to only work with, Chevrolet or Toyota or Ford? Are they going to stick with their manufacturer if they don't have a teammate? You see it in real life. They will work together because they, have similar noses and rears. But are we going to see that tonight if somebody doesn't have a teammate? A lot of these guys do. So it'll be interesting to see, if that is a thing that actually comes into tonight's race.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to keep an eye on that here as they're just crossing the line now to complete lap number 6, 7 going up on the board. And keep in mind, talked about 100 laps here tonight. Stage breaks at lap 20 and 40. Top 10 will be awarded stage points just like in the normal top 3 divisions in real NASCAR. Obviously, out here on the sim, we saw how chaotic these stages, Charles, can be when it comes to the super speedway racing. Big wrecks can happen. Guys can pull out a line and try to make these crazy moves that you wouldn't have seen all race long, or really just all the whole run. So we're going to have to see what happens, but definitely towards the end of these stages at lap 20 and lap 40, at the completion of those laps, you could really see some chaos unfold possibly.
Yeah, we definitely could, I like these stages on one hand. It's almost like, especially when there's points, I should say, on the line, it's like getting those bonus points, because we've seen it, in other leagues and other races where, those bonus points, where you get one bonus point, could mean the difference of going to a playoff race or not going to a playoff race. So, every point matters. So they're going to get a little crazy, I think, come around lap 18. They're going to be making some desperate moves to get to the top 10 if they're not already there. So, we could see a big pileup. Hopefully we don't. But, hey, Jason, it's Daytona. Anything's possible.
That is definitely true here. And you see Michael Blackner there in that 22 machine, followed by James Torrey in the number 6 machine as well. Back behind these guys, or actually he's side by side right now, I believe, for the race lead possibly. Michael Blackner leading, one of those guys from Fury Motorsports. James Torrey won the duel, the second duel that is, on Thursday night. You see him right there in that RFK-inspired Castrol Edge Ford Mustang Dark Horse machine. And there goes the 01 machine back up to the race lead. He's got help from Brian Bliss, Nathan Bigart in that 01 Ford Mustang. And man, I love those colors right there. That's my number I always drive. That's the car I always drive. That's one of my favorite sponsors I ever drive. So Nathan Bigart's probably got my heart here tonight at Daytona. But you're seeing, Charles, a lot of these guys are trying to figure out what line they obviously want to run. You can run the bottom, you can run the top, but at the end of the day, you got to see what line is obviously moving the best. We saw earlier today in the Daytona 500, the top lane was really dominant. But right now, this bottom lane just formed up a lot better than that top lane right now.
Yeah, the bottom is definitely where you want to be at the moment. But yeah, I think if a few more get up on that top side, and it really does. We talked about it in the truck race on Valentine's Day last Wednesday. You can have 10 cars in a line and 5 cars in a line, but you see the gaps in between these. If they're not, close together, tightly bunched, 5 cars could outrun 10. It really determines on how well you work together, not just being, together. Yes, quantity is good, but quality is better at some point.
Yeah, definitely no doubt about that. We'll see them roar back into 1 and 2 now. Just about 10 laps to go until the completion of stage number 1. Michael Blackner still leading. He's got Jeff Chandler up on the top of that racetrack there. And Jeff Chandler was a driver who was really, really fast. He had a charge. Oh, one car out of line right there. That was Brian Bliss in that neon yellow machine, just barely, I believe, touching or kissing that outside safer barrier. 4th in line up at the top of the racetrack in the Camaro. That could have been something to look out for. But back to Jeff Chandler, a driver who was very, very strong last year, contended with Richie Coy a lot for those Season A, B, and C titles. Could have had a shot with Season C, came up 81 points behind. But, you know, he did really good. For 9 starts, he had a pole, he had 1 race win. You know, he had a couple top 5s, actually, that being 4, 7 top 10s. I mean, he did really good last season. And we just talked to Richie Coy before the start of the broadcast, and he said, watch out for Jeff. He's going to be really fast this season. He's been working hard. I expect him to do really good. And same with Richie Coy, because this is the man that's pretty much dominated FTSR over the past year.
Yeah, and we'll have some information, you know, regarding Coy here later on in the races. You know, definitely looking forward to. The winner gets a little bonus from him. Again, we'll talk about that. We'll let you talk about that here later on. But yeah, he's doing good right now with that Victory Fuel number 19 machine, and nobody's really close together. They're giving each other a lot of space. You know, again, being only my 2nd race with them based on the truck race that I saw, I'm really seeing what I saw before and what I was told. There's going to be good, clean racing, and that's what we saw in the truck race. I think there was only 4 cautions and 80 laps, and that's what we're seeing here in the Cup race as well. You know, respect and a lot of clean racing.
And we're seeing some clean racing right now. Whoa, 1 car way out of line there up in front of Wayne Grossi. I believe that was the number 69 machine, possibly, of Anthony Cozy. Nearly got knocked out of line coming off turn number 4. He was able to save it right there. And actually, that's a Toyota Camry. That was Alan Duranco, I believe, right there. So that was a great save by Duranco to be able to save that machine. But these guys are getting really squirrely off these corners. Still not really a dominant line. The inside lane will surge out ahead, the top lane will fall back, and then vice versa. So not really, you know, too much scrambling going on. And actually, that was Anthony Cozy who got out of line right there. I was right, the 69 machine. So these guys really being easy right now. But Charles, I can only imagine as this, you know, stage kind of winds down, we're definitely going to see a lot of shuffling around going out throughout this pack.
Yeah, we are definitely going to see the shuffling around, and we're starting to see, you see way back there, there's another pack starting to form. We'll go back a little further. That looks like, yeah, it starts with Lane Allen in the 14 machine. These guys, I don't think they're too concerned with the stage points. I have a feeling they're thinking what I'm thinking. We're going to see a wreck when it comes to the end of the stage, and they want as much time as they can to avoid it. So they're hanging back a little bit. You know, it's a classic move we've seen before, and sometimes it works in your favor. There is that big wreck, and you gain a lot of positions. Other times, you just kind of sit back there for nothing. So this will get real interesting to see which strategy plays out. If this is a good one, or if it's just a matter of running in the back right now.
Well, I tell you what, Charles, in fact, him running in the back last year, he is actually the most recent points winner at a super speedway track. Won the Talladega playoff race last year in 2023 season, that being the final season for last year's FTSR Mach 1 Performance Cup Series. So he has some super speedway experience. He's pretty good, I'd say. I mean, we saw him last year. Me and Jeremy Stanley called a lot of races together where Lane Allen was kind of one of those guys who kind of just hang around outside the top 10. Then you'd see him kind of sprinkle in a few top 10s here and there, some top 5s. When he came to the super speedways, he was there to play, and he would stay at the back, and then he would survive all the carnage and somehow make his way up to the front. And like I said, captured that victory just 1 season ago at Talladega. But you see this outside line now, they have got formed up a little bit better now than the bottom lane. Jeff Chandler, TJ Bartel, and Nathan Bigart, they have been able to kind of break away from Wayne Grossi there up on the top side. They're pulling that train along. while the bottom side's just kind of trying to work themselves in right now, figure out who do they got to push, what's going on. Because you have the 69 machine there of Anthony Cozy pushing the 3 of Brian Bliss, and actually you see some drivers jump down. There goes Wayne Grossi. He'll lead a couple other guys to the bottom of the racetrack. You see Brian Dublé, also others along as well. So now they're going to try to take a charge here at the line with just a couple laps to go in the stage.
Yeah, and I do believe, if I recall from the truck race, you can correct me or tell me how good I did, that as of right now, pit lane is officially closed, correct?
I believe pit lane is officially closed with 2 laps to go. So at the completion of lap 20, that will be the completion of obviously the stage, and then lap number 40, at the completion of that lap number, they will complete stage 2. And then we will run all the way to the checkered flag after lap 100. And Charles, things are getting really dicey up front here. Seeing a lot of backing up going on with Colton Gunn, Jose Acosta, and a few others up there on the top side as well.
Yeah, Acosta doing what he needs to do. Everybody wants to get to the front now. They want to get those bonus points as we're now starting lap number 19, 18 down. And look who's up there. He's been up there quite a bit anyway, but now he's really up there. That is Richie Coy. He's in second place. So, you know, he kind of bides his time. He was hanging around 5th, 6th, somewhere in that area. And here he is in second place right behind Grossi. Chandler's falling back to 3rd. Martel in, well, now 5th, now 4th. They're just duking it out side by side. I have a feeling we're about to see a knockdown, drag-out match here to end the stage.
Yeah, very well could be a possibility, and here we go to the outside. Here comes Richie Coy with the new Victory Fuel colors to that Ford Mustang Dark Horse. The number 19 machine will lead that time by at the line. This is the last lap in the stage, so Richie Coy trying to start off right where he left off at the end of 2023. It might not be a win for right now. We'll see where he ends up here at the end of lap 100, but this is for the stage win. He's got Jeff Chandler, one of his friendly rivalries last year. Him and Chandler battled consistently throughout the season. TJ Bartel jumped to the bottom. Here comes Bigard. He'll go to the top side, right in tow behind Chandler. Will anybody pull out of line this time? You see a lot of shuffling going on. Brody Hanna jumped down to the bottom, and Richie Coy will lead them down there, and Jeff Chandler goes to the outside. Here they come to the line to complete stage number 1. And it looks like it's going to be Jeff Chandler picking up the stage victory. Heads up driving by Jeff Chandler to be able to go from top to bottom, back to the top. And Charles, he did it all by himself.
Yeah, he did a fantastic job. I know, obviously, Coy wanted that stage win, but it eluded him here in stage number 1. And look who else is there. Brody Hanna in 3rd place. You know, we talked about him a little while ago, but not in the top 5, and he manages to get a top 3 in the stage, so good job for him. We got Colton Gum in 4th, and Nathan Bigart in 5th place, so those are your top 5, and some points being awarded. And again, those are valuable points come later on in the season.
Well, as they wind down here, they're going to catch back up to the iRacing pace car. They're going to be taking some pit stops coming up. That's going to lead us to our first commercial break. So at the conclusion of stage 1, Jeff Chandler, the race leader right now. We'll be right back after a few messages from Daytona. Stay tuned.
We're a racing family that you can trust on and off the track. So if you're looking for foundation repair, go online or give us a call to schedule your free inspection. If we fix your foundation and you mention Race on Texas, you will get a 1-year free subscription to the All Access Pass.
Hi, welcome to Day Motorsports. Come on, check out what we got.
Thank you for keeping Day Motorsports in business for over 50 years.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
At Click It RV, we know there's a lot of heritage and history at this location. RV sales and service has been part of this community for decades. We knew there was an incredible opportunity here, but to see where we've come in just a year is incredible. None of it would be possible without the patronage and support from this community. So whether it be a more convenient and accessible service drive, a fully stocked parts department, or this amazing sales facility, what drives this team daily is making sure our customers leave here with the best possible experience.
Welcome back to the season opener for the Full Throttle Sim Racing Mach 1 Performance Cup Series from the Daytona International Speedway. Just got done wrapping up stage number 1, and that was won by Mr. Jeff Chandler. Again, 2023 C was really, really strong. Had a win, a few top 5s, a few top 10s. Now they're doubling up. These guys have already had one round of pit stops, and Charles, they're getting gridded up here, man. They're not going to have much time before the conclusion of stage number 2, because you think about it, obviously from the start of the race, they go that full 20 laps. The caution comes out. They still have to run those pace laps, and then you got guys coming down pit road, and then, you know, the last pace lap right before they go green. So they're only going to go green here with, you know, 16 laps to go in this stage, so it's buckle up and get ready. If you want some stage points, you're going to have to really work for it here if you're in the middle or the back of this pack.
Yeah, and we got two types of strategies going on here tonight. We obviously know tires are not that important. We didn't get a chance to look at this, so we'll pull it up real quick here for you. Your Hunt to Front race information. There you go. They have 5 sets of tires, 100% fuel load, no fast repair, and 3 green-white checkered attempts if needed, with a 100-lap race. So, you know, do you really need all 5 sets of tires? Obviously, the front 6, they think they might, because they did not come down for fuel or tires.
Yeah, definitely not. Obviously, tires don't really necessarily mean much here at Daytona. I expect them to probably take 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles at the conclusion of stage number 2, and even maybe during a green flag cycle once they get back going, because remember, this is a 100-lap race, so after lap 40, it's to the checkered flag. There is no extra stage break. It's 3 stages, 2 stage breaks, and then to the finish. So getting ready to go back racing right here. Row number 1, Fury Motorsport teammates, best of buddies here. Richie Coy, Brody Hanna, going to lead them back down here to the green flag. You have Richie Coy on the inside there in the Victory Fuel Dark Horse. And then you have Brody Hanna on the outside in the Duralast machine. Green flags back out in the air. We're back underway here from the World Center of Racing from the beaches of Daytona. And just like that, Richie Coy and Brody Hanna going to remain side by side while the field gets bundled up together, just like they did there coming to the green flag. Right on board with Brody Hanna. He leads them here going into turn number 1 and 2. And they got their teammate Michael Blackner there in that chrome Red Bull machine there coming off turn 2 on the outside.
Yeah, right to their bottom is that 69 of Anthony Cozy. And I'm going to be honest, you know, it took me till I was probably this year old. I always thought that car said hooligan. It says hoonigan. I did not know that until this year. So, yeah, he's got the sporting the hoonigan car looking good.
Don't disrespect the GOAT like that. Can't
Yeah.
disrespect the goat and
I
block
didn't
like
know he
that.
was the
Hoonigan,
goat
brother.
either.
Come on. Oh, man. Charles, we got a lot of catching up to do with you on your racing knowledge. But obviously they come through turns 1 and 2. Brody Hanna able to take the lead away from his Fury Motorsports teammate, Richie Coy. Drops back to 4th, now almost 5th on that bottom line. He's 3rd on the bottom of that red, yellow, and white number 19 machine. Joshua Johnson leads the charge up top. He's got help from Colton Gum, and that Gum's auto repair machine, very, very slick looking 10 machine last year. It was black and white. This year, it's looking like a chrome red with some black on it. Absolutely love it. Red and black, best color combo. Don't at me. And then obviously right behind him, you have Jose Acosta. You mentioned him. One of those aggressive drivers in the duels. Very, very fast. Won the Clash a couple weeks ago. And Charles, if there is anybody that I want to tell you to watch out for here this season, it is at number 24. Came in late in the going in 2024C. And boy, he lit the FTSR world up on fire.
Definitely look to see what he can do this year, and I will not at you, by the way. Full disclosure, when I graduated in 2006, that was our motto, red and black will always mix, senior class 2006. We were, that was our school colors, red and black. So, yes, I agree. A nice looking ride by Colton Gum, and, well, as we talk about him, he takes the lead on the outside lane, and he's got some nice help behind him. And I want to go back here, I believe that's the 57. We're looking at on the top side, outside. Again, we'll see, get a better glimpse of that number, but I'm digging that yellow Pennzoil machine out there. We'll see how he can do as well, but a nice looking ride back in 3rd spot on the outside row.
Yeah, Wayne Grossi is always a driver to look out for here at the super speedways, and we talked about him. I mentioned during the gridding process of him probably going to be able to go from the back to the front, and surely enough, he has done that. So has Brian Dublé, Jose Acosta, Brian Bliss, Joshua Johnson. They've come from mid-pack, but those guys all started towards nearly the last spot in this race, and now they find themselves 2, 3, and 4, that being Acosta, Grossi, and Dublé. So they now ride up at the top of the racetrack now, and that's the dominant line right now, Charles. But again, these guys coming down, they're only going to have 11 laps to go in this stage. It's going to be very interesting to see if any of these guys up on this top side are going to pull out a line and try to make something work here.
And we got to give a shout out to Brian Bliss, or Biggie as he's known, sporting us. We told him, this is our color. It's in our overlays. It's everywhere. It's on, for anyone that knows, I do obviously race RC cars. It's the color we use on there. But Brian Bliss running the highlighter neon yellow LSRTV machine. We're not going to play favorites. We're going to talk about everybody, but he painted this car. I saw it prior to the race, and a really nice car. And Jason, we definitely will not be losing it throughout the season.
Definitely not going to be able to. It's almost like Ryan Blaney's neon yellow Menards car. It's so easy to pick that thing out of a pack, especially like it was at Daytona towards the end of that race. Got caught up in the big one, took out multiple different contenders. Hopefully that's not going to be the same case for Mr. Brian Bliss there. 5th up on the top side in line behind Brian Dublé, and right behind him as well, I believe that would be the number 54 of Alan Crowell, possibly right back behind him. But this inside lane starting to make a charge now. 10 laps to go in the stage. Still waiting to see if any one of these guys up on the top are going to jump down possibly. Jose Acosta, we talked about him being aggressive. He likes where he's sitting right now. Charles, I can only imagine he's probably going to wait till the very last second. If, coming to the checkered flag, they're lined up just the way they are right now for him to make a move.
Yeah, that last second is, it's kind of like sniping. You got to wait till the very last second when you're trying to get those good deals, or in this case, trying to get the good deal of a win. So we'll see as you're going to see Brian Bliss drop down to the inside lane and try to work with this group. You really have about a 50-50 split, I think, right now, just at a quick glance when it comes to inside-outside row. So both of them should have an equal advantage. But like you just said, that outside lane is really, they're pulling away by about 3 car lengths. So interested to see if that inside lane can get it together and possibly make a run. But right now, it's just not looking like it.
Yeah, this bottom lane, it looked like they were starting to come back, and Brian Bliss noticed that. That's why he jumped down to the bottom of the racetrack, but ultimately he has now lost nearly 2 spots for making that transition from the top down to the bottom of the racetrack. You see Wayne Grossi starting to kind of try to see if he's going to peek out of line. He's thinking about it, doesn't know if he wants to do it just yet. Decides to stay right back in line behind Acosta, and he's got Dublé still right on his back bumper. I can only imagine that one of these guys, if they see that inside lane, just coming in a hurry, I could expect them to probably jump down very, very quickly to try to get around Acosta and Gum here.
Yeah, they've got to make some kind of move, and what we'll probably, I ain't gonna say probably, we might see, and that's some of these guys that are second, third, fourth. You got the 24, the 7, and the 37. We may see some of them dip down and try to pick up that outside lane to get by the leader, because if they dip down by themselves, it's not going to happen. So you may see them try to make a move to get to the inside and slingshot by. But yeah, maybe that outside lane, I'm just waiting for it to pick up some steam, and maybe it has. He's picked up a spot at least. It's just not quite as powerful of a lane as I would want it to be. But he has gained one of those spots back, so maybe that momentum's coming, Jason.
Well, I'll tell you what, one guy we're not really seeing at the front is actually, they're going to put Brian Bliss in the middle right here. Joshua Johnson is going to get rid of him, and they're going to put him right through the sucker hole, they call it here at Daytona. And actually, never mind, he's going to be able to jump right back up in front of Lane Allen. Alan Duranco, though, he's going to jump down to the bottom and try to lead this charge in that Toyota Camry machine down on the bottom side. But notice one driver you haven't really seen just yet back up at the front of this field. In fact, that was our Stage 1 winner, Jeff Chandler, all the way back in 22nd. You see him there towards the tail end of that line, just kind of riding around right now. Already got a stage. He doesn't really need to compete for more points and risk himself probably, or he's just stuck back there, doesn't really have anywhere to go in that 31 machine. And also a couple other notables, Joseph Grijalva and Tony Solari, both out of this race, 29 and 36 laps down. Solari did not make a start due to some issues with the rig I was aware of, and Grijalva, I believe maybe something of an issue on his end as well. And so those two are the only two out right now as they come to the line this time by. It's going to be 5 laps to go remaining on the board in stage number 2. It's Colton Gum leading the charge up on the outside, followed by Jose Acosta, Wayne Grossi, Brian Dublé, and Rob Tracy in the 75 machine, looking to make his way up here towards the field. He's already up 10 spots, doing a great job right there in that Gatorade machine here as they come off too.
Yeah, these guys are doing a good job, and to talk about unfortunate, we got 2, like you mentioned, unfortunate out. Grijalva didn't get to see him much. Tony just having issues, like you mentioned, and he didn't have the best run in the truck race, had some issues there. But I definitely know he's a good driver. I've been talking to him enough. I think he'll bounce back. It's Daytona. It's the first race of the season. You got a long season to go. So we'll see him bounce back. I definitely believe that, as it's starting to get a little hot and heavy down about third, we'll say about 5th through about 10th. The front 3 are just kind of cruising up on that top lane, but it is definitely getting a little intense from about 4th place on.
Yeah, the bottom line starting to kind of surge back now. Brian Bliss has found himself back down on the bottom of the racetrack, and he is pushing the number 54 machine. That's Alan Crowell trying to make his way back up to the front of this field right now. He's already up a couple spots from where he started, so he's staying right where he started here as they come around turn number 4 this time. That inside lane, Charles, they're starting to make, that steam that you talked about. It's working out for them. They're getting right now to Wayne Grossi's left rear. They might be able to go to the race lead here if they just get lined up good enough.
Yeah, they very well could. And, we were talking under caution, and you were telling me Doyle, obviously a regular here with the series. And, I didn't get a chance to watch the NASCAR Coca-Cola series. But let us know that in that race, the top line was very dominant. So, knowing that is again, I didn't get a chance to watch it due to real work. that makes it even more interesting. Maybe, you know, some of these guys, if they want to make it work on the bottom, they're going to have to, you know, do a higher ratio of cars, because right now there's fewer on the bottom. Maybe you're going to have to work with people you don't normally work with and say, hey, look, let's get 10 cars to their 3 cars. You know, you may have to really stack them in your favor on that inside lane.
And now 2 laps to go remaining. Here's the move from Grossi. He'll jump down to the bottom side, right to the WL line to get around Acosta and also Gum. Now, will this inside lane be able to carry that momentum off turn number 2 down the Daytona super stretch? A little bit squirrely as they head into turn number 3, and they're actually going to lose a couple positions here from Grossi jumping down. Maybe others will come down as well. 1 lap car up up on the top of the racetrack, going to be in the way, but not really a factor. Just really going to scramble most of these guys towards the middle of this pack here as we're on the 1 to go signal in this stage. Acosta figuring out if he wants to jump out of line right now as they head back to 1 this time.
Yeah, and this is what I thought needed to happen right here. You see, that top line kind of got jumbled up, and, well, they've kind of patched it back up a little bit. But the top 3 really got kind of left out to dry, and I think that's what needed to happen. You really had to just hang these guys out there. They did it a little bit, but it didn't work out the way I think anyone intended, as they're going to hang on to the 1, 2, 3 the way they were, the 10, 24, and 37 as we come to take the yellow flag for stage 2.
And here comes Acosta. He's going to be pushing this number 10 machine all the way to the line, and Colton Gum is going to pick up stage number 2. Jose Acosta does not decide to pull out of line. Brian Dublé comes home 3rd that stage, and between Wayne Grossi or Rob Tracy, Wayne Grossi will actually get the nod for 4th, Rob Tracy 5th. Looks like Jamie Knopf 6th. Alan Crowell comes home in 7th there for stage 2. Lane Allen 8th, Brian Bliss 9th, and Tom Price, somebody we haven't talked about either yet tonight, posted his fastest lap of the race just last time around. He'll come home in the top 10. And Charles, things are starting to heat up right here, man. This next stage coming, you got to really make sure you have your friends and make sure you really, you know, get those belts tight and get ready for this 3rd stage here coming up, because it's going to get exciting.
Yeah, you definitely have got to, you know, keep your friends close and maybe your enemies closer. I'm not sure, but, you know, you would know who's friends, who had some rivalries last year. I know you were talking about some friendly rivalries going on. I believe, I know it was Chandler was one of them, and was the other one Brian Bliss? I can't remember who you said that one was with, but, you know, those rivalries could carry over to this season, or you could have written it off and said, hey, we're starting fresh. But, you know, you're definitely going to have some. I mentioned it in the truck race. You know, somebody leaves you out to dry, you're going to remember that come, you know, 10 laps to go or even 20 laps to go. You very well could leave them to dry. So, you know, payback could be given here. Not in the form of wrecking or doing anything crazy like that, but just not working with them as much as they would like you to if you haven't worked with them early on in the race.
And with that being said, we're going to head to another commercial break here as they wrap up these pace laps under caution for the conclusion of stage 2. We'll let them hit pit road, and we'll be right back before the start of the final stage here at Daytona. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
At Click It RV, we know there's a lot of heritage and history at this location. RV sales and service has been part of this community for decades. We knew there was an incredible opportunity here, but to see where we've come in just a year is incredible. None of it would be possible without the patronage and support from this community. So whether it be a more convenient and accessible service drive, a fully stocked parts department, or this amazing sales facility, what drives this team daily is making sure our customers leave here with the best possible experience.
Hi, welcome to Day Motorsports. Come on, check out what we got.
Thank you for keeping Day Motorsports in business for over 50 years.
Welcome back, folks, to the FTSR Mach 1 Performance Cup Series. The conclusion of Stage 2 just wrapped up. That was won by Mr. Colton Gum there in the Gum Auto Service machine there, third in line on the bottom of the racetrack. So he's going to restart fifth here. Charles, what do you expect to see here in Stage 3, man? We saw a lot of clean racing, no incidents. These guys, they know how to race really hard. They know how to race clean. Do you think any of that changes here in this final stage?
I definitely think it's going to change, but, you know, we did the over-under on cautions in the truck race, and I won, by the way. I just want to put that out there, but, excuse me. You know, I'll bring this up just because I love seeing these stats, obviously presented by VA811.com, Dig with Care. 2 cautions. Those have been the stage cautions. Those are the only cautions. So really, let's scrap those out. We have had 0 cautions, 0 caution laps, but 14 different lead changes. Not the highest number of lead changes. That means, obviously, these guys are doing very good at holding the front, but a essentially caution-free race for 44 laps completed when we get to the line, if we don't count the stages. I'm impressed by that. But I don't think it's going to stay that way, Jason. I think we're going to see at least one, and if we do, I have a feeling it's going to come within 20 to go.
That very well could be the case. Well, pace car lights are out, obviously, like we just saw. It's going to make that hard left turn onto pit road, and it's going to be Rob Tracy, Jamie Knopp leading them back to the green flag here, into the Geico restart zone. And just like that, folks, we are underway for the final stage. Stage number 3 here on lap 45 of 100. Rob Tracy gets a great push from Jamie Knopp, or rather Daniel Simmons, all the way into turn number 1. That'll project him out into the race lead, but here comes Jamie Knopp to the outside lane, trying to make a charge. Back at it, coming off turn 2.
Yeah, Jamie Knopp back there, and Knopp taking the lead this time on the back stretch again. Might not represent it if he ain't leading it at the line. That's when our lead changes do take effect, but he's got a nice little lead, being pushed by Wayne Grossi there, and now you got Robert Tracy in there. Acosta, that name just sounds familiar. I think I've heard of him in another league before, so definitely looking forward to calling Jose Acosta here in this one in that 24 machine as they're side-by-side. Lanes are even this time around, Jason. We'll see how long they stay that way.
We're indeed going to see how long they stay this way. They're approaching halfway in just 4 to 5 laps this time. Down the back straightaway, Wayne Grossi has made his way back up to the race lead now. He'll jump up top, and he's got help from Jose Acosta, probably one of the guys, like we've already mentioned a couple times now, the one who is probably going to be aggressive. So we'll have to see how he does, obviously, towards the end of this race. That machine was always fast towards the tail end of last season. He's definitely showing some speed out here tonight. Coming to lap 47, Grassi gets the push from Acosta back through the tri-oval to retake the race lead back to turn number 1. Everybody else, though, still jockeying for position, going all over the place. Charles, they head back to 1.
Yeah, they're definitely jockeying around. You know, my question for you is, do we see 3 wide? And if we do, when do you think we'll start to see it to play a factor into this race? We really haven't seen it except for that one time. And I don't know if I'd classify that as 3 wide. That was just, unfortunately, Richie Coy getting stuck in the sucker hole and losing some spots, which he managed to get out pretty quickly and go to the top side. But we've yet to see an actual true 3 wide. Will we even see it tonight? Are these guys going to stay nice and clean? And if we do, maybe very last lap or something?
I can promise you these guys are not going to stay nice and clean come the end of this one. I would definitely expect a wreck or 2, maybe even more. We're just going to have to see. The 3 wide, though, that's something you probably could see here very, very shortly. You got to remember, too, guys are going to get impatient riding around in that bottom or top groove. They're going to want to push to the middle. They're going to want to push to the very top. Some drivers are already getting on the line. You see right there, Colton Gum went from the bottom, jumped up to the... Oh, we got one through the grass. Lane Allen, big wreck heading to turn number 3, I believe, possibly. Seeing a lot of drivers head down towards the bottom of the pylon. One of those was Lane Allen. Not too sure if anybody else was involved, but I saw a lot of shuffling going around, Charles. But we stay green because, remember, iRacing deems if there is an incident below the racing surface, they will not throw the yellow. And look at how scrambled this made this pack, which was probably anticipating a caution.
Yeah, it definitely was. And, you know, everybody knows me when I get behind the mic. I love analogies. And the best way to describe, if you've never been behind the wheel of one of these cars, whether sim or real racing, you know, when you see somebody go flying around, whether they're spinning, going in the grass, and you don't know where they're going or where they're going to be coming when they come back on the track, the best analogy that I've always had for that is, you know, being a little kid or even adult, you know, stomping on an ant bed. You don't know what's happening and you just scatter everywhere. That's exactly what happens when you are behind the wheel and say you're, you know, 15th back and you see cars spinning or you see cars go in the grass. You hit the brakes and everyone scatters to try to figure out and collect themselves so they can have time to adjust as to what may happen next.
Stomping on an ant bed and scattering. That's a new one. See them now back down this back straightaway here. Jamie Knopf being challenged here by Wayne Grassi up at the top of the racetrack, coming through turns 3 and 4. So the outside lane got formed up way quicker than we probably anticipated. Remember, that bottom side almost broke away to a single car train. Now this outside lane is really hauling the mail, Charles. And like you said in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series back on Tuesday, man, that outside lane was for sure dominant, and right now it's showing.
Yeah, it is definitely showing here. Is, you know, I'm really looking forward, and they are all sorts of scattered here in the front as they're 2 wide, now they're single file, but you know, we're starting to see a lot more shuffling than I thought we would see this. And I say early. By the way, we're 49 to go. We're past the halfway point, but I still say early, and we're seeing a lot more shuffling than I figured we would see. But I am good to see we got the number 3 of Brian Bliss in that LSRTV machine back up there. And who is that behind him? Is that the 98? It's a Mountain Dew chrome-looking car, and I'm really liking the look of it. I believe it might be the 33 of Sherwood, but a very nice-looking machine.
Yeah, definitely a nice-looking machine. Sherwood Williford has always brought out some great schemes. Last year, in 2023, he ran quite a few different schemes that I can remember. I know one in particular he always ran. I believe it was a Dale Earnhardt Taz-type throwback car. Correct me if I'm wrong there for anybody who remembers Sherwood Williford's paint schemes, but he always brings some really nice ones to the table there. He's bringing that number 33 Mountain Dew machine. Might even say Diet Mountain Dew right there. Not too sure, but obviously possibly throwing it back to Dale Jr. back in 2012 all the way to 2015, or 2014 rather, running that Diet Mountain Dew machine. You see him up at the top of the racetrack, fifth in line, or fourth in line rather. That outside lane still really hauling. This bottom side just can't stay up in Charles, probably because they're not really packing too much air on the left side of those cars. They are staying well far apart from that top side right now.
Yeah, they definitely are. And, I would have hit on that Mountain Dew machine you were talking about back in the day, when he ran Mountain Dew. Two of my favorite things got combined together is Barbecue Pitmasters and Mountain Dew. When Barbecue Pitmasters was actually at the Charlotte race, and the winner that won 50 grand for that Barbecue Pitmasters, I still got to go sit in the pits with Dell Jr. So, just a little throwback to people there. I'm sure, a lot of the diehards already know about that anyway, but a big shout out. That was just a fun time back there when I got to see both my favorite things, barbecue and Mountain Dew together.
There you go. You want to win Charles Hart next Valentine's Day, since Brody Hanna didn't give him anything? Barbecue and Mountain Dew. That'll do it for you. You see them coming back down to turns 3 and 4. James Torrey, he'll duck out of line from 5th on the top, jump down to the bottom, and here he comes. Richie Coy. Oh, one car way high in front of, that would be Wayne Grossi. One of those machines. That was Tom Price nearly getting up into the outside wall, coming off 4. Kind of got really wide, nearly washed up into the wall. Thankfully was able to save it. No hiccups needed by the whole field. And they keep on going here as James Torrey trying to lead that bottom lane back to the front of this field. Richie Coy, always a really strong driver at tracks no matter where you go. But super speedways always seem to kind of try to bite him. We've seen him win them in the past, but it's not really probably the best strong suit for him. He always says it's a crapshoot. Talked to him last season. Definitely something that he's going to be looking, hopefully to not happen to him tonight, is for it to be a crapshoot and end up wrecking at the end of this. But he's making his way back up with one of your dual winners, James Torrey, there.
Yeah, and you talk about, we've talked about it anyway, how good this race has been. I want to talk a little bit about just how good it's been here by one statement. With the exception of the 2 cars that are out of the race, one of those didn't even get to start, unfortunately, with Tony Slayer. He did not too. We only have Ryan Chapman 1 lap down. We actually started 32, and we currently have 30 on the lead lap. 30 cars on the lead lap, 56 laps completed. I don't think I've ever seen a stat that good where you have that many cars still on the lead lap in a league race at Daytona. Usually by now you would have at least 5 or 6 cars or more a lap down or destroyed.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, no doubt about it. And you see them coming through the tri-oval this time, and it's really surprising because Daytona usually you think chaos, but obviously you look back to the Daytona 500 just earlier today. Only that one caution early in the race created what obviously Brad Keselowski gave a really bad push to John Hunter Nemechek, sent a couple guys spinning. Carson Hocevar was involved, Jimmy Johnson, Harrison Burton, Austin Dillon, just to name a few. And then we didn't have a caution until about 6 laps to go, and then all hell broke loose, and then obviously the caution at the white flag. So no surprise to me, Charles, honestly, that we haven't seen anything really happen yet. We saw Lane Allen go through the grass, but everybody's still in this lead lap, but you're seeing 2 separate packs right now. And with these guys going side by side right here with James Torrey and also the other ones with Jeff Chandler and stuff like that, those guys at the back of this field, they're going to catch them in a hurry.
And we know there's going to be at least one green flag pit stop here. They do have 100% fuel, but we should see a green flag pit stop somewhere before the end of this race. Could this second pack, now we have 3 packs, is there still one back there? Could these packs, especially these guys here, are setting up, I don't know if it's time yet, but setting up for pit stops? Because one thing you do not want to do, Jason, and I'm sure you've been on the track when it happened, you do not want to be stuck on that outside lane when you need to come down the pit road.
No, you definitely don't, obviously. And these guys last pitted at lap 42. They can go out 40 laps on a tank of fuel, so you're probably going to start to see some green flag pit stops here around lap number 80. So we'll have to see how this shakes out. And obviously you want to put yourself in a position to where you have that help, and you want to make sure that you have the guys that you want to come down to pit road with you. You don't want to be a sitting duck and go all by yourself or have a mishap coming to pit road. So you want to make sure you obviously keep it all in check, but they're still racing up here side by side. James Torrey still trying to make this bottom side work, and with these guys racing, that has enabled those guys behind them with Brian Dublé, Brody Hanna. They've been able to catch that bottom side, and I expect them to probably get up towards the front right here.
Yeah, I do too. And you know, I just want to do this, say this, you know, mad respect for Brody. You know, we always love talking to the league and getting to know. And, you know, one thing when I was talking to him, he said, love the broadcast. You know, everything was great. You know, and, you know, the only things, maybe different, you know, a few more angles of the crashes when we have one. Well, that only works. And I said, yeah, I agree. We didn't get to look at them as much, but that only works, Jason, if they actually give us cautions to go back and look at. So, my apologies to Brody if we don't get to go look at different angles and stuff, because he's got too good of a league and too good of drivers. You know, we got nothing to look at.
Yeah, for sure, no doubt. You see Lane Allen there in that 14 machine going towards the back. He's going to go one lap down after going through the grass just a handful of moments ago. And you see the pack trying to work past him. Colton Gum, though, and Brian Bliss, they're going to duke it out here for the race lead. Only 5 cars up on the top of this track right now, starting to lose more and more of their men. But Lane Allen adds a 6th member to that if he can keep up with them, tagging along on the back end of that. But Brian Bliss, Sherwood Williford, James Torrey, they've been able to get up to the race lead right here coming to lap 63.
Yeah, lap 63, it'll be 62 down, 38 to go right there at the line. And obviously Brian Bliss out front, followed by, like you said, Wilford, James Troy, and someone we haven't talked about in a little while. He is up 18 spots. There's Anthony Cozy. He's getting quite cozy up in the top right now in that 69 machine. And, you know, we're starting to see those movers and shakers, their comers and goers. You know, they're coming to the front, some are going to the back. As, again, we mentioned it, about 20 to go, 10 to go, we're going to see some shakeups. Pretty big. I think we're going to start seeing those moves. But, you know, will we see a caution as pit stops?
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Very interesting to see these guys come to pit road. Right now, you don't want to make any contact coming down, and they don't. Very interesting, though, considering most of these guys pitted last at lap 42. They've only gone a little over 20 laps since then, and you see them all taking fuel, tires right here, left sides going on the race cars. And that would be Daniel Simmons, Rob Tracy, Ben Tracy, Jamie Knopp. They all came down to pit road. So my guess is, Charles, what they're probably trying to do is they want to make sure that they can make it the whole way and stay all together. So they wanted to try the undercut here.
Yeah, they are definitely doing the undercut. You know, now what we look for is monkey see, monkey do. We're going to see anybody else, you know, come in and try to shorten their undercut as much as they can. But not this time. There go the leaders. They cross the line, and that second group we saw back there is kind of merged in with this front group, and not one of them's coming down pit road. So we'll see if the undercut works out. You know, again, so many questions have to be answered that are unanswered right now. You know, will the short undercut work? Will we see a caution? Will we not see a caution? There is just way too many variables we don't know the answer to, and we won't know the answer to until they happen or don't happen, to know what strategy is going to work.
And that's definitely something that we're going to have to keep an eye on to see if, like you said, Charles, if monkey see, monkey do, will these guys pit anytime soon? Right now, not really showing any signs of it. Everybody's just really kind of chugging along on the bottom side. You have those 5 guys up at the top, led by Colton Gum and Jose Acosta. Still expecting them to pit around that lap 80 mark to try to see if they can go the distance. I don't really know if those 4 guys that pitted, that being the Tracys, Jamie Knopp, and Daniel Simmons, if this is going to work out for them, because they are only 4 cars compared to a whole gaggle of cars under a blanket going over 200 miles an hour I don't know if it's going to work because they're going to be running 15 more laps until they have to pit sometime.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not sure how it's going to work out for them. You know, their best bet is that these guys may be running together, but not necessarily working together, and they're not communicating, and they're going to come off little bits at a time. 3 cars here, 4 cars there, and they'll break this pack up. If this pack comes down as a whole, yeah, they're gonna be in a bit of trouble because 4 cars will not stand up to a freight train of about 15 or 20. So their best hope right now is that one, a caution, or 2, that these break off into little groups and fragment this big pack.
And we're definitely obviously going to have to see this, as you see them going up to the top of this racetrack. Wayne Grossi leading that top side. They've been able to get some cars up there, been able to get back to the race lead, and Jose Acosta right back behind Colton Gum as they come back to the tri-oval this time by to complete lap number 67 going up on the board. Everybody else, though, still kind of just riding around. You see one car duck out of line down to the bottom right in front of Joshua Johnson, I believe that was. And that was, not too sure, I believe it was a blue and black car. There it is right now, side by side. I believe it's TJ Bartel right there on the bottom side coming up to 4th. And no, actually, that's Colby Mice. The guy who was talking to us, obviously, just a couple days ago, laughing, having a good time. We talked to him, said, hey, we're really excited for this season. He said he was too, and made some really strong runs last year. Wasn't able to get the job done a couple times, but had those times. And whenever he did, Charles, man, he was excited to get up on the podium. And tonight, he very well could be a contender here at Daytona.
Yeah, good getting Colby. I was talking to him last night, and, we were sitting there just hanging out. The whole crew, you were there for a little while as well. And, a good driver, good person, and he is doing really good right now, sitting in the 4th position. And right now, he is all over the back bumper of Grossi, as you can literally see him rubbing the yellow paint off that Pennzoil number 7, as he was giving him a nice shove, and he shoves him right to the lead on the bottom. And now we're seeing the bottom obviously dominant. No surprise when you got about 20 cars versus 4. The outside, just doesn't have the momentum. And that's what I said earlier, if you recall. That's what they needed. They needed to stack the ratio of favor in their favor. You need about 15-3. You needed to do that, and they're doing it here to make that inside lane dominant.
Yeah, they are doing a really good job by obviously having everybody, but you keep seeing them too, Charles. Most of these guys, especially the leaders, they'll go from the bottom to the top, back down to the bottom, then back up to the top. It's really whatever lane is the strongest. They can kind of control that being out there, and that obviously the most obvious guy being Wayne Grossi. He can control where this lane goes, obviously. If he sees the outside lane coming, does he want to jump up? Everybody's going to follow him. Does he want to stay on the bottom? So he has control of it right now, and Colby Mice, he is in the catbird seat. He is somebody who could very well lead him. And here we go. Pit stop starting to happen. Thought it was going to be around lap 80. It's going to happen around lap 70. One of the lockups out of the 69 machine there of Anthony Cozy. Contact, between a lot of guys. Oh, no, that's the number 5 machine of Tom Price. Got nailed about once or twice, and he misses his pit box, nearly goes all the way to the garage area towards the trash can. And he got banged up about 2 or 3 times coming to pit road, Charles.
Yeah, hopefully that damage is not too much. He can get it quick fixed, or he didn't have a quick fix, but quickly fix it and stay with this group. We'll see. As looks like the 91 of Justin is out, so not sure what happened to him, but he's technically scored the lead lap, so he came into the pits just now and is done. So that is unfortunate for him, but he'll come back. We'll get better next time as more pit stops are underway as well.
Yeah, you see a race leader, Wayne Grossi, bringing in some guys down to pit road. He brings in Duel 2 winner James Torrey, TJ Bartel, Alan Crowell, Nathan Bigard, who's been up at the front all night, Brian Dublé, Colby Mice, who was running up right behind Grossi just prior. He's going to take 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles, and he's going to be away. And that 5 machine of Price, he's probably in pit road for quite some time now. He goes 1 lap down. He'll try to rejoin this pack with Colton Gum taking over the race lead. Can only expect them to pit here pretty soon.
Yeah, I would expect them in there. They come down right now, and Looking at pit stops, very interesting here. You have a whole bunch taking fuel only, as you can tell by their 8.4 second stops, 8.3, 8.6. But there's some mixed in there that came in that took tires. So, I don't know, if that would be a call I would make. Yes, maybe you want the tires. You don't really need them that much. But now you're going to be lost on that pack. You're not going to go out with them and could potentially lose the draft. So we'll have to see if that strategy for tires does play out later on in this race. It's something we'll see. But the top 5 right now have not pitted. So that's another group that still has to come down.
Yeah, and they obviously have to take 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles because they can't go the entire race without at least 1 set of tires. And they have 5, if need be, behind the wall. So make it 4 left for the guys who decide to take their first set of Goodyear Eagles that time by. And right now, Ryan Hedrick, we haven't talked about him. He ended up on the podium a couple times last season. Here he is right now, leading this race over Josh Mayhew, another driver we haven't talked about there. Josh had some solid runs last year as well. James Wallace was really strong at the beginning of the season, kind of fell off towards the end, but he was still there at various times. Michael Blackner, Alan Duranko in this little pack, so they're probably going to be coming down this time by. And 47 machine, we're used to him seeing a black DraftKings machine. This time it's a white one. Oh, and we got a caution on the racetrack here on lap 74. Gonna have to see who it was. Oh no! Colton Gum, I believe that is. Or not Colton Gum, rather. That might be Jeff Chandler.
We'll take
Ryan Chapman.
I know James Troy's involved in this. We'll take a look here at the replay, and James Troy's involved in it. Not sure who the other one is. About to find out though.
Oh wow. Just a 3-wide incident right there, and then ultimately they just get collided, come back up the track, and James Torrey has nowhere to go right in front, and I believe that was Ryan Chapman. I am correct. Very hard to see the door number right here.
There's Chapman, so
it was not Chapman. Maybe we can get another replay on it, possibly. Definitely an interesting turn of events. And Charles, that's just a product, too, of this super speedway racing with these guys trying to race, trying to catch that field. Ultimately, they come up on the 01. They try to put it 3 wide, but ultimately you see one car come right down. I believe that's Chris Beck. Comes right down in front of that silver, black, and red machine.
TJ Bartell in the 98 involved in it.
Oh, not TJ. He is always usually a good super speedway racer. We've seen him do very good in the trucks last season at super speedways. Unfortunately gets caught up due to just trying to make the right decision, but unfortunately another driver coming down the racetrack. They make contact, and this really benefits Ryan Hedrick. They don't have to do this under green. Now they can come down to the aid of their pit crews, and he actually overshoots his box. You're going to see them all come in this time. Most drivers staying out, though, who already pitted. Daniel Simmons looks like he's going to pick up the race lead. And while these guys take service, we're going to take our final break for the night before the conclusion of the Daytona 250. Stick around. We'll be right back for the last quarter of the race.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
At Click It RV, we know there's a lot of heritage and history at this location. RV sales and service has been part of this community for decades. We knew there was an incredible opportunity here, but to see where we've come in just a year is incredible. None of it would be possible without the patronage and support from this community. So whether it be a more convenient and accessible service drive, a fully stocked parts department, or this amazing sales facility, what drives this team daily is making sure our customers leave here with the best possible experience.
We're a racing family that you can trust on and off the track. So if you're looking for foundation repair, go online or give us a call to schedule your free inspection. If we fix your foundation and you mention Race On Texas, you will get a 1-year free subscription to the All Access Pass.
Hi, welcome to Day Motorsports. Come on, check out what we got.
Thank you for keeping Day Motorsports in business for over 50 years.
Welcome back to the FTSR Mach 1 Performance Cup Series Daytona 250, the season opener here. Getting ready to get back going. So we just had our, what was it, Charles, third, fourth caution of the race, I want to say it was, right there. Let's take a look real quick at the Virginia811.com. Reminding you to dig with care. Race summary, 26 lead changes, a lot of lead changes. I'm sure that stat will definitely go up by the end of this one. 9 caution laps, third caution, all right? Getting ready to wrap that up here, but we're coming back down to the restart. Daniel Simmons, Jamie Knob. Gonna lead him back down this time by green flags back out in the air. Lap 78 goes up on the board, 77 completed. And Charles, we have a race. This is going to be the conclusion. So you have what you have. You got what you got. You better make sure you have what it takes to get to the front of this field.
Yeah, at this point in the race, it's pretty much run what you brung, you know, and hope what you brung is enough because you're not going to be coming back down to the pits. I mean, I guess you could if we got a caution, but, you know, I don't know if I'd recommend it. It's just going to be a slugfest to the end as we have 3 laps to go, and we're going to be that 20-lap mark, and that's where we've said that is where it gets crazy. And, whoo, speaking of crazy, a move from the 06.
Yeah, crazy move by Daniel Simmons. Nearly loses it in front of the entire field, but he's able to hold on to it. Here comes Jamie Knopp back to the outside. Inside lane closes up to the back bumper of Simmons. Looks like everybody's going to keep it straight for the time being as they head back into 1 and 2. Jamie Knopp still trying to... Oh, we got one around right in the back of the field. Hard impact. Big, massive crash. Jose Acosta nearly up on his lid. I believe we did just have one on his lid. And just like that, we talked about intensity ramping up, Charles. And it looks like a mini big one has struck here on the high banks of Daytona going into turn 1.
Yeah, and we were wondering if and when this was going to happen. And we'll get another look at it here and see exactly what did happen. As we'll go to the right front. I believe it happened back there. We'll go there. It is. That is the Bronco going on, and he just gets hit a ton. And well, there you go.
Yeah, Alan Duranco got nailed right there. We're gonna have to see from another view what happened to him, but just collects multiple different drivers. Got a big shot, sent him sideways. Couldn't save it going into turn 1. So here it is, Alan Duranco in the Martin Sports Nerditudes Toyota Camry. Off turn number 4, riding in the draft, getting a big push right there. That's Ryan Hedrick in the DraftKings Chevy Camaro right behind him. And by the time they get to turn 1, so it looks like this outside lane starts to stack up, and Ryan Hedrick thought about going to the middle, tags the two in the left rear, tried to save it, couldn't do it. Makes contact, hard impact by the 22. The 44, or the 24 rather, nearly goes on his roof. Heck, he might have, but you see Richie Coy, last year's defending series champion, involved in that one. In fact, swept all of the seasons last year. Won 2023 season A, B, and obviously C, which was the overall. So heartbreaker for Richie Coy, but we'll have to see right here, Charles. Not sure enough if there's enough damage on Richie Coy's car, but we're going to ride on board here with Michael Blackner. This is going to be a hard hit.
Ooh.
Oh. Just lifted up off the ground. Sheer impact, hard. Thank goodness for this being a virtual race, and that's not real, because that would have been a very, very hard impact. Experiencing lots of G's inside those race cars. You think back to obviously lots of the wrecks that happened in the duels back in the summertime as well. How many big wrecks we saw and how many G's drivers pulled with hitting the walls, flipping upside down like Ryan Preece did about 10 or 11 times. Boy, oh boy. And now with 20 laps to go, Daniel Simmons still out front, obviously, with that early caution of this run. And Charles, might as well just ask you, man, so far from what we've seen in these first 79, 80 laps, do you even have a favorite? Because it's been a mix, a plethora, you could say, of drivers that have been up towards the front. We've had everybody from Wayne Grossi to Jeff Chandler, Colton Gum, Anthony Cozy. I think everybody has pretty much been in the lead at some point tonight almost.
Yeah, I don't think, unless you're a fan watching, which we try not to be biased, I'm with you. I don't think there can be a favorite in this race to win it from a unbiased perspective anyway. Obviously, if you're a fan of a certain driver, you're going to be biased to them, and I don't blame you. But, coming from, your point of view and my point of view, no, I don't think you can have a set favorite. I think you got about a 1 in 20 shot drivers on this track that really have a chance to win this race tonight.
Yeah, and we're going to have to obviously see, assuming we're going to get the 1 to go signal this time by and take the green with 18 laps to go here. And really, like you said, it's been obviously a mix of drivers up at the front. Now with that caution, I'm going to take a look one more time here at the Virginia811.com caution summary. Still 26 lead changes. This is the 4th caution of the night. 11 caution laps. And here's something, Charles, we didn't really get to talk about at all. How are these drivers handling these weather conditions? If we do have the Kaufman creative weather conditions, because that's something that's always been a factor here at Daytona. You see the air temperature, 82 degrees track temp. It's kind of in the middle here at Daytona. 90 degrees is still cool, but it's not that cool. And obviously the wind speed definitely affecting the handling of these race cars, probably coming off the corners and especially in the draft.
Yeah, 13 miles an hour. And while it doesn't say it on there, I can tell you right now that the wind is coming out of the east right now. So we saw that I believe the trucks was the east, southeast as well. So we'll see how that wind is going to play a factor on these guys. But yeah, as it's going to drop to 89 degrees on us. But not a horribly hot day, I'd settle for 89. We've seen some of these races where this track is somewhere, in the 120, 130 degree temperatures, and that is a blistering hot track. Not here tonight, so these guys are probably liking these cooler temperatures.
Tell you what, up here in New Jersey, I'd kill for 89 degree weather right now, or 82. That feels right about nice right now, especially with all the snow that we've been getting and near freezing temperatures. I can only imagine what it's like down by you in Texas. It's got to be cold, right?
No, it was 70 today and 82 tomorrow.
Yeah, so here's what's going to happen. So I'm going to move there, you're going to move here, and that's what's going to happen. Does that sound good with you?
Well, I'll stay here. You can still move here, though. But, yeah, I need my warm temperatures. Unfortunately, nitro fuel freezes below freezing and turns to jelly. So I need my warm weather, but you're more than welcome to come to Texas, as it will be nice and cozy here for you. As we'll check in with Cozy as he's in the 12th position. He's another driver that has a pretty good shot at bringing home the victory tonight as well.
Well, Charles and his RC cars, as always. If he's not calling sim racing and broadcasting, he's always working on his RC cars. But with that being said, 18 laps to go. Daniel Simmons takes over the race lead. He'll jump up in front of Jamie Knopp. That leaves the bottom side open for Ben Tracy. Also, Jeff Chandler back in the mix here at the front. Think about the Stage 1 winner, and now he finds himself back up in the mix here at the top 5, top 10. They scramble out down the back straightaway here, heading for turn number 3, while everybody, Charles, tries to get lined up.
Yeah, everybody is in full-on scramble mode, and there we go.
Oh, big wreck going into turn number 3. Oh, and a hard crash, massive crash. One car up and into the air, 2 cars, in fact. That's going to take out multiple different drivers. And I was just going to say it, Charles. Saw somebody try to nearly go below the yellow line. Tried to put their car in a place where there wasn't a big enough gap to be filled. And just like that, under our 5th caution of the night, we're going to take a look here at the replay. And it all started right here down this back straightaway. You're going to see the 75 of Rob Tracy. He's going to move down to the bottom. Here comes the 35 of Ben Tracy. Just tries to put it right there where it just really wasn't. Let's see if maybe we can get an onboard with the 35. But oh my goodness, what a hit by him. Oh my gosh, lots of good cars taken out in that. Let's see if we can get another replay right here. And this is the onboard from Ben Tracy. Again, he's leading this bottom lane here, Charles. Then coming into turn 3, gotta find out if he just simply puts it right where there's not enough gap, or if he just comes up. We're gonna have to see.
Yeah, see, and it looked also a little bit of a chain reaction. You'll see this, and then everyone really checking up, and yeah, just whoop, right there to the back bumper.
Yeah, so it looked like he laid off, and then while he was in the process of laying off, probably got a shove from behind, if I can only imagine, or maybe just kind of corrected the wheel a tiny bit. Not really his fault, honestly, and it looked like it was from the front straightaway angle facing towards the wall in the backstretch, but obviously not really of his doing it. And you're absolutely right, 101%. You know, that just all a chain reaction. There's not much you can do, and you got to remember, you have to be courteous because you have a pack of cars behind you. It's not like you can go from 190 miles an hour down to 160 in just the snap of 2 fingers. You have to be mindful. You have to know who's around you. And ultimately, all this happens, and here comes Brian Dublé. Heads up, folks. That'll give you a headache.
That is a lick. 37 and 35. And an absolute just heartbreak for that 37, as I guarantee you he's got some engine damage after that one.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I can only imagine probably that, you know, it really stings for most of these guys because obviously they work so hard over the off season and put the sim time in, and then they come in here and then be taken out like that. It really, really does stink. You don't want that to happen. And now with 16 laps to go, we've seen multiple drivers get taken out. Right now, only, you know what's funny, Charles? You said, remember about 2 quarters of the race beforehand, you said, oh, we only got 30 cars on the lead lap. That's pretty good. Well, guess what? Now we only have 19. And by the looks of it, there's only going to be about 15 cars that are going to be competitive here when we get back racing. And a lot of them we've seen up here at the front. It's been consistently with guys that we've seen up at the front here. I mean, pick your poison still. With 16 laps to go, it's really still anybody's game. There has not been really a dominant driver here tonight like we mentioned just a handful of laps ago.
Yeah, you're right. There's not anyone that I would say, you know, has dominated. Now, that being said, as we get further into the schedule, you know, and we get to these 1.5 miles and tracks and stuff like that, yes, we may see some dominant cars, but we haven't seen that here tonight. You know, did I expect to? Nah, 50-50. You know, sometimes you do see that one car that just always manages to get up front, but we have not seen any of that here tonight. I still think Rossi's got a good chance in that 7 machine. I think Gum's got a good chance. Simmons obviously has been up there as well. So there's still about 10 cars after that little skirmish we had that I think still have a shot.
Yeah, we're going to have to see because, like I said, take your poison. Not really been a dominant car, a dominant team all night long. Usually when it comes to these super speedway races, you see the Fury Motorsport guys all together, but really there's only 2 left, 1 left. I mean, I'm looking at the leaderboard right now. Brody Hanna is the only one I really see besides Richie Coy. But remember, Richie Coy has damage. He was involved in one of those wrecks. Brody Hanna has not been involved in one that I know of. He's still up here in the 9th spot. He's got no teammates really around him at all. So he's going to have to play, careful, obviously. I know that Daniel Simmons and Jamie Knopp, they work very, very well together out here on the racetrack. We've seen them time and time again be really strong together over there at LA Motorsports. And they have 2 teammates, Ben and Rob, both the Tracys. And they obviously were involved in that last wreck. So I think Jamie and Daniel, they really could probably do something if they stick together. But remember, Charles, we did talk about once it comes to the end of these races, the teammate aspect goes out the window.
Yeah, your teammates are good until, well, it's time to win a race. And then you don't have friends. You really don't have teammates. You have competitors. And that's what it comes down to. Everybody's out here trying to get the win. It's just a matter of figuring out who it is. You can see all the tire tracks in the grass where some chaos went on just not too long ago. But I'm impressed. You talked about how good Simmons did in the past, and he's doing here good tonight. So, if he gets the win, I look forward to talking to him.
Definitely should be a fun one here. Well, here we go. 14 laps to go left in the bank. Do we have any extra? Green flag back out. Simmons and Knopf lead them back down. Will they do the type of teammate restart? They will. Simmons jumps back up in front of Knopf like they did last restart. Leaves the bottom open for Nathan Bigart in the 01 machine. He's going to get a push now from, I believe, that's Colton Gum in the number 10. On the bottom side, they head back to turn number 2. And Charles, that top side lined up way better than that bottom.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about early on in this race is, you may not have the quantity, but if you got the quality and the drivers are working together better, you can be a dominant force as now the inside lane's starting to have a little steam and come back into this fight as it's almost an even match, but the bottom side now getting spread apart. 3 that pulled away. That is not good. You get too far ahead, and, well, you know what happens, Jason. They catch you, and it is not pretty.
Yeah, you obviously don't want that to happen, and look at the gap that they've been able to put out on the rest of this field. Basically a 3-car breakaway. But here's the thing, though. They can make it work because these guys behind them are side by side. The only one that really benefits is that bottom lane because they're going to have that draft wake, so they obviously have to be mindful of that as you see them coming down this back straightaway. Inside, already starting to surge out from that top lane to try to catch Nathan Bigard, Jamie Knopf, Daniel Simmons. You see the top side as well. They're trying to figure out what they want to do. Does Colton Gum drop down? Does he stay with the 33? We don't know. Looks like he's going to stay up top, though, this time. 12 laps to go. He'll jump down to the bottom. Still kind of indecisive right now.
Yeah, these guys are very indecisive as to where they want to go. They got to figure out where the momentum is. You mentioned it earlier, top side, bottom side. You go where the momentum is, and that's what these guys are trying to figure out. Where is that momentum? Right now, it looks to be on the bottom side, but, these guys that are back here, you got this group, and then you have just a little bit further back, this group. If I'm this group right here, I put all my competitiveness aside. I get single file so I can catch back up with that main group. Then let's see them go too wide again. But right now, they need to get to, together as they're starting to somewhat do it, and they've caught up to that front pack. That's what they needed to do, or you're going to lose the draft, and then you're in trouble.
Well, I tell you what, you want to talk about losing the draft. It looks like those back guys right there, they might be losing the draft. Top all the way to the back of this lead lap. Only 12 cars right now in this little pack right now. It goes all the way back to Brian Bliss in that number 3 machine. Everybody's single file, though. You see a little pack back there. They're not really going to be a factor, but here goes one car out of line. I believe it's one of the Toyota Camrys, and that is Colton Gum. Jumped up to the outside. Nobody wanted to go with him. They're coming to 10 to go this time. He'll duck right back in line behind Hanna and in front of Duranco. Coming to line this time, Charles. 10 laps to go, and it's all Daniel Simmons and Jamie Knopf from LA Motorsports trying to hold them off, while Colton Gum jumps to the top of Duranco.
I'm beginning to think some of these drivers may be listening in on us on the broadcast, Jason, As you know, we mentioned, get single file, catch the front group, and then go double file. And that's exactly what they did. I think they're listening to us because that was a smart call on their behalf. You know, you just got to do what you got to do to stay in this pack. They did just that. Now we're seeing this 2 wide again. Maybe a little early, we'll see, but you do not have much time. You're coming to 9 to go, so moves have got to be made here very soon, if not already.
Yeah, time by at the line, 9 laps to go. You see the top of this racetrack right now. That's the number 54, Alan Crowell. He's got help from Colton Gum, but still, nobody really wants to jump up to this top side. They all just want to ride in line, and you look at everybody who is in this pack, just to name them all. Daniel Simmons, Jamie Knopf from LA Motorsports. They're the top 2, so they're the ones you want to beat right now. Nathan Bigart, he's been so strong all night. He's been very consistent. You have Anthony Cozy, Wayne Grossi, he's been up there. Jeff Chandler, your Stage 1 winner. And then obviously you have Crowell, Gum, Brody Hanna, Brian Bliss, Sherwood Williford, Alan Duranko. Those are those 12 guys right now battling for position. And here we go, top side trying to get lined up. They're going to try to get around the 4 machine. That is Chad Lang going another lap down, make it 3 at the line. 8 laps to go while the bottom tries to pull away. The top still trying to see what they can make work.
Yeah, and I'm kind of curious if we stay like we are now with this single file action, not getting double wide. And someone smacked the wall. I think that may have been our own LSRTV Brian and Bliss smacking the wall. But if they stay single file like this, we know we've been hearing all night that top side is really dominant. Could we see that slingshot move to the outside and potentially take one for the win? I think that may be the move we're setting up for here, because nobody with 7 laps to go is double file right now. I don't think I've ever seen this.
It's like a waiting game. You think about many different Daytona 500s 2017 with the fuel strategy game. Everybody single file until the last lap. You think back to 2021, it came down to the second to last corner before everybody started to get out of the line. Created a massive, massive crash. Ended up with both Team Penske cars, all 3, if you count Austin Cindric there, making his Daytona 500 debut. All up into the wall. That's to Michael McDowell earning his very first NASCAR Cup Series victory in his first Daytona 500, which would become 2 victories as of last year at Indianapolis at the Roval, or rather the road course. Not thinking of Charlotte. So we're going to have to see here this time by the line. 6 laps to go. Daniel Simmons, Jamie Knopf, still up at the front of this field. Nobody wanting to get out of line. And Charles, like you had mentioned, is it a waiting game? You're going to have to wait till the very last moment. I'm saying it's looking like that right now, probably, as they're approaching 5.5 to go.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that assessment. It's almost like we're at the beginning of the race, but we're at the end of the race. We're coming to 5 to go. And yes, it's turning into a waiting game. These guys are sitting there thinking, okay, when am I going to make my move? And my thing here is, if you're second place right now, like Jamie Knopf, are you going to come out and try to make the pass? And if you do, is anybody going to go with you as we now take 5 to go? That's what they're scared of probably. If they jump out there and nobody goes with them too soon, they're going to fall to the back, and their hopes of winning this just went out the window.
Well, definitely going to be a possibility. You don't want to be at the back of this field right now. Probably the best person who's in the best spot right now would be Jamie Knopf, but he's with his teammate. He doesn't want to leave a teammate out to drive, and he wants to obviously go for the win. You look at Nathan Bigart, he's right there in that 01 machine. He's in a catbird seat. If he can get Anthony Cozy, Wayne Grossi, Jeff Chandler pull out a line and make something work, they could get it done. This time by at the line, it's becoming about a 9-car, almost an 8-car pack. Colton Gum's already lost the draft. Brian Bliss starting to lose it a little bit. It's like flies falling off the wall, one by one.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Oh, gosh.
And I just don't know when they're going to try to make this move. It's as much a waiting game for us as it is them.
Right there to the outside, I believe that was the 33 machine of Sherwood Williford. He jumped down the line, and Charles, he's picked up Wayne Grossi and could very well pick up Anthony Cozy right here in the 69.
Yeah, here we go. We knew it was coming. We just didn't know when. And again, now the top three are going to go out to the outside lane, and they're going to leave. Is that? Trying to figure out who that is on the outside lane. No. It's not Bliss. It must be
Jeff
Chandler. It is Jeff Chandler in the 31. Man, they just left him out there to dry, and he goes straight to the back. But just like that, he's not at the back anymore. We're too wide.
Yeah, too wide. You see right there that 01 machine. They've been able to get past the LA Motorsport guys. It is now nearly even. Oh, and the 06 gives the push to the 40, or the 42 rather. The 48 gave the push to the 06, got him sideways, chokes up the bottom line, and here comes the outside lane, 1, 2, almost 3, and they will make it 3 cars clear of the leaders if they're going to jump down. They got to do it now as they head to 1 with Nathan Bigard taking the race lead here with just a couple of miles to go.
Yeah, and lucky for Chandler, Jeff Chandler, they did not get a chance to do that, or once again, he would have been hung out to dry. And this goes to show you, this we were talking about, is 2 to go right now, coming to the white flag here shortly, is you don't have friends or teammates out here. You have competitors. That's it. Friends or not, they want the win, and they will leave whoever and whenever out to dry if they can get the win.
Well, it's going to be settled right here. White flag is out. 1 lap to go. No more yellows. Nathan Bigart, Wayne Grossi, Brody Hanna, your top 3. Here comes Jeff Chandler. He'll work down to the bottom. Grossi pulls out a line. He'll work down to the bottom, and he'll take the lead away from Bigart at exit turn 2.
I mentioned, I think Grossi had a good shot as we got cars going down to the apron, and whoa, that is not what Grossi wanted.
Definitely not what he wanted. Probably going to lose in the race for sure. Here comes Jeff Chandler for the final time through 3 and 4, trying to work the bottom side. Nathan Bigart, he gets pushed. Chandler getting pushed. They're all getting pushed. They're all up and into the wall. And here comes the 48 machine of Jamie Knopp through the victory. He has Williford on his bumper. Not going to be enough. Jamie Knopp survives the carnage and wins the Daytona 250 in the FTSR Mach 1 Performance Cup Series. What a finish.
What a finish. And, Wayne Grossi manages to pull a 4th place finish after that. He gets bumped around, and then the ones that gave him the little whoop-de-doo bumperoo, well, they end up in the wreck, and he takes a 4th place finish. So not a bad run for him. Obviously, he wanted to win, but congrats to Jamie Knopp getting the win. Like you said, anybody had a shot, and we really didn't know who's winning that until they crossed the line.
Yeah, we definitely didn't know, and we're going to take a look probably, if we can, at the race replay to see that finish, because coming into turns 3 and 4, it was looking like it was going to be the 01 or the 31, but you saw everybody get bundled up, pushing, shoving, and it all started when the 7 got bumped out of line, opened up the door completely for the 31 machine. He's getting the push from the 06 machine. And then you see them all start to bundle up. That's all she wrote, and Jamie Knopp just comes right through and says, I'll take that for you. And you see the 01 up and over. Just like that, Jamie Knopp comes home a winner. He just got handed it right there, but I obviously had to work for it.
Yeah, he had to work for it, and now he's not working. Now he's playing. He's going to burn these tires down. Again, looking forward to talking to all 3 of these, Knopf, Wilford, and we got our very own Brian Bliss LSRTV machine in 3rd. So not a bad run for us, and not a bad run for these. Is a very exciting race here tonight.
Definitely an exciting race for sure, as Jamie Knopp burns it down. We're going to take a look here at the unofficial race results presented by LiveSimRacingTV.com. Jamie Knopp comes home P number 1. You have Sherwood Williford there, obviously coming home 2nd. Brian Bliss, we'll talk to the podium here in just a few moments. Grossi, Simmons, Jeff Chandler. What a heartbreaker for him after winning the first stage, coming home the 6th after wrecking. Brody Hanna, Anthony Cozy. Richie Coy comes home for a 9th place finish. Alan Duranco there, Charles, rounds out your top 10.
And 11th place, Josh Mayu. Nathan Bigart, 12th, followed by Colton Gum. Obviously, not quite where he wanted. He had a pretty good run here tonight. Alan Rowell in 14th. Ben Tracy, Lane Allen, TJ Bartell in 17th. Tim Price, Ryan Hedrick, and Chris Beck going to round out your top 20, Jason.
Yeah, rest of your field right here running it down. You have Jose Acosta, James Torrey, Chad Lang, Robert Tracy, Ryan Chapman, Brian Dublé, Michael Blackner, James Wallace, Colby Mice, Joshua Johnson there. And then the rest of your field, obviously, Justin Diltz, Joseph Grajava, and Tony Solar. Let's take a look real quickly at the Virginia811.com race summary. 5 cautions. 15 caution laps, 28 lead changes. Only changed twice since we last mentioned it. And that is your race summary presented by Virginia811.com, reminding you to dig with care. And with that, we're going to take a quick break, step aside, I cannot speak. Gather up the podium 3, and we're going to talk to Brian Bliss, Sherwood Williford, and Jamie Knopf in just a moment. Stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the conclusion of FTSR's opener here for the Mach 1 Performance Cup Series, the Daytona 250. Gathered up our podium 3 here. We're going to start with Brian Bliss, driver of the number 3 machine. Brian, it was kind of really an up and down night for everybody, but right when it mattered, you were right there at the end. Talk us through your night.
Like you said, it was up and down. It seemed like every lane I was in was just dying off as soon as I got in it. I just got lucky there at the end and missed that wreck.
Yeah, and obviously they're coming towards the end right there with the wreck. What was your mindset going in? Obviously, it got single filed out, and then everybody really started jockeying for position with around 2 to 3 laps to go. What was your mindset going into those last 2 to 3 laps before everybody started really getting, jockeying for position and whatnot?
I just tried to be in the lane that was going.
There you go. Being simple. Well, man, we're going to let you go here. Anybody you want to thank before we let you go to celebrate that 3rd place run here tonight at the World Center of Racing?
I thank LSR for broadcasting the race.
Oh, man, in simple words. It's Mr. Brian Bliss coming home P3 in the number 3 machine tonight from Daytona. Now we'll step towards Sherwood Williford, driver the number 33, coming home P2 in Sherwood. You were kind of towards the middle of the pack a lot of the night, and obviously there towards the end, more and more cars started getting taken out. You just put yourself in a really good spot there towards the end. Talk us through it.
Yeah, there's it's hard to tell what lane to be in because it was the bottom lane was real terrible from the starting the race about the middle of it, and you get huge pickups, and I just tried to pick them off when I could, and have good pit stops, and just got lucky there at the end. I seen it was about to happen. As soon as I seen that car cut, I cut to the A-turn.
And obviously, next week we go to the Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Atlanta 250. Similar type of track now. Obviously, since the reconfiguration and whatnot, do you feel like you could take a copy and paste from this race tonight and transfer it over to next week at Atlanta?
It might be far as driving it, the way you drive the place. I mean, that setup's going to be, probably totally different. But I ran good there last season, so hopefully I can carry that over.
Well, we hope to see you again next week on the podium, maybe in victory lane. But for that, let you go here. You want to thank anybody before we let you go to celebrate second tonight?
I thank the league. Great place to race. And you guys, LSRTV, for coming on and broadcasting. I heard you guys do a good job. I look forward to checking it out tonight. And that's pretty much it. I appreciate my teammates and everybody working together and having a good race.
Well, there we go. There's Mr. Sherwood Williford, driver the number 33 machine tonight, coming home P2. And now we step into victory lane here, presented by Victory Fuel. And obviously, you can use code KOI19 at checkout to receive a discount. One of the official sponsors of the Mach 1 Performance Cup Series. And Mr. Jamie Knopf, man, you and your teammate Daniel Simmons right there towards the end, you guys had it, and then all of a sudden you got separated. What was going through your mind when you guys got unhooked together?
Yeah, I was trying to tell him to get back to the low lane, and he didn't hear me in time, so we got separated there and then slowed up. But we had a good car, ran good, and when we was able to do the pit stops there, was able to take the lead, or not take the lead, but when the caution came out, that put us in the lead because we had pitted and some guys had stayed out still and hadn't pitted yet. So when we were in the lead, was hoping we could just control the rest of the race. But then 4 or 5 get in line, and here to come on the top. So we tried to work our way to the top to kind of stall those guys out, and then I was like, go back to the bottom, and he didn't hear me in time, so it kind of messed our momentum up a little bit. And then, but it was all in all, it was a good race.
Well, it was a good race indeed, man. And now, obviously, you've already kicked off 2024 with the win. You were really strong last year. How do you feel like you're going to be this season coming in? Because you've already started off the best you can with a win here tonight at the World Center Racing.
Yeah, I think I'll be real strong. I got to thank Team Connie, Sim Performance, for the awesome setups, and like I said, my teammate Daniel there for working with me. And because on this track, it's like one lane goes and it stalls out, so you kind of got to take your time there and pick which lane you want. So luckily we was able to get a little bit ahead through a couple pit stops there, or toward the front, and then that made it a little easier. If we'd have had to come from the back, it would have been real hard to pass.
Well, man, with that being said, we're going to let you go here. You want to thank anybody before we let you go celebrate in Victory Lane tonight?
Yeah, just Team Connie for the awesome setups, and Pink Magic Tire Prep, and you guys for broadcasting, and Full Throttle for putting on the awesome lead.
There you go. That's Mr. Jamie Knopf coming home P1 tonight in his machine. Obviously, the opener at Daytona, Charles, was an interesting one, to say the least, man. And I could expect Atlanta to be the exact same way next week for sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to Atlanta. Always am. And, just like the first race in the trucks, I love it on Valentine's Day. We raced today for the first Racing Cup on President's Day. We're starting both of them off with a bang. I'm definitely looking forward to the entire season and seeing what these drivers put on for the fans and for us, because if it's anything like these two races went, we're going to have a really good season on our hands.
Definitely looking forward to Atlanta next week. Remember, you can catch the Atlanta 250 next week here for the FTSR Mach 1 Performance Cup Series. Same place, same time, same great racing action. But that's going to conclude our broadcast coverage tonight. For everybody at FTSR, we want to thank them for bringing us on board and obviously providing us with some great action here tonight at Daytona. I want to thank Jeff Stabnow, Rocket Racing Media, Charles Wooten. Always good working with you, my friend. Pushing the buttons, being the color tonight. We're going to see y'all next week from the Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Atlanta 250. Have a great rest of your week. We'll see you in Hotlanta next week. Have a good night.